Hello, and welcome to the 9 to 5 CEO podcast.
Brum, 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 brum.
I am Tramaine, aka the 9 to 5 landlord.
And I'm aka Zena Dixon Inc.
Welcome. And today we are going to talk about, I just reached passive income, ... Can I retire now or be lazy now?
And the answer is no and no.
So what I want to start off with is a lot of times when you are venturing off into a new venture that's going to pay you passively, no matter if that's rental income, turbo business, or even, stock investing. Once you get that first line of income, it could be $500, $1,000, you really feel the power of passive income. And sometimes it can lure you into a trap in which now it makes you more lazy at your job. You're less tentative to things, and you kind of slipping up because you got this thing in your mind where it's like, I got money coming in anyways. I don't need this job, so let me just go ahead and just be lazy. How do you feel about that, Zena?
Oh my God, that is such a trap to have that mindset. So for me, I'm a high performer at my job, and I take that very seriously. My reputation is very important to me, and I love the fact that the CEO and the VPs and every senior VPs, they all know me. They know that they can come to me for a deliverable. So that reputation currency is very important to me. So when I started, getting, the passive income from my building, I was just like, this is dope, but by no means is this enough, one, to be like, let me slack off, because, that the fact of the matter is my job, they are slow to hire and quick to fire. So anytime they see any deviation from your performance, anything like that, they like tap you on your shoulder, like, everything okay? So you have to still be on your P's and Q's. And I don't know if it's like that at any other jobs, but the fact remains is you have to keep in front of you the fact that, yes, I am making this passive income, and this is, offsetting some of my bills at this time. But what is my number? What is my number that I can, confidently leave this job and be like, this passive income is really taking care of me? And I think a lot of times people prematurely get into that mind space, with, a couple of buildings. And, it's just not realistic. And it's not something that I would, be, giving advice to people like, yo, once you get a building, it's all gravy. It's nice, and it's a good start, but you're nowhere near at a point where you can just walk away from your 9 to 5. The other thing that's really important is there is such a stress of your business being the sole income for your family. I have been in that situation where I did leave a job previously, and I thought, my boutique, because I used to own a boutique, it's going to be doing numbers. From what you see on Instagram, you see people, oh, I made 6 figures this month and this and that. Nah, it does not happen like that. A lot of times that's smoke and mirrors. And the people that are doing numbers like that, they've been in the business for a while. It just didn't happen overnight. And that is the biggest stress when you have bills due and you ain't make no sales. So I like to, make the parallel that a passive income, yes, this is my business, being a property owner, I am, having passive income, but I would never put myself or my family in that situation again, where you're grinding so hard to try and, make a sale, and it's just not happening. And the bill is still due. The bill is not going to be like, oh, we'll wait until you hit your first, 5K month. No, that doesn't happen. So I do not, blow smoke when people ask me for advice about, should I leave my job because now I have 2 buildings or now I have 3 buildings. I'm like, why would you do that? Until you can either match or surpass your monthly income, you should just be staying put.
I can sleep in though. Man, I feel you 100%. I think my perspective is a little bit of the same, but that's 100% right, because I actually went through a period in which I had parted ways with a company prior to landing another job, and I was like, you know what? let me just try to work this entrepreneur thing out. I had about 2 buildings, and I was going to do bookkeeping as far as like for others. And the
Mhm.
biggest thing I realized while being an entrepreneur is you have to give value and then see if they're going to pay you for it. See, in the
Yes.
job, I do my job. I know I'm getting paid Friday. But in business, I will literally sell somebody on what I could do as far as bookkeeping. Where I was like, yo, I do this, I do that, I could do that for you. And they hit you with the, all right, let me think about it. Then they ain't hitting you back.
Exactly.
It's like during that process, you have bills, you have real things to pay for. Like it's not sweet. It's really
And
not.
makes you so thirsty and it makes you so stressed. And if you have a partner, you start bickering because all that stress is coming down on you. So I would never do that again, because that was the most tumultuous time for me personally. Like my husband, he was able to float everything, but when you put your all into something, it's just not working
Mm.
because you're inexperienced, or you just need to have time to grow and you don't have the capital to float yourself. It is a miserable experience. So I would tell anybody, hold on to that 9 to 5, because like you said, it's your first investor. And two, you just remove that element of stress where you can focus on growing your business and not be in a desperation mode.
Mm. If you don't mind me asking, how long did that last you as far as the business? Like, and how did your feelings towards it change, from month 1 compared to, month 3? Because the announcement is always beautiful. When you announce the building, it's 1,000 shares. Oh, let me know you got the product available. I can pre-order it now if you want it. And then it's like you started and you like, yo, hey, what happened to fam that said he was going, you know?
It's very euphoric when you launch, when you like, oh, my website is live. I got all my inventory, I got all my packaging, I have my systems in place. And then you launch and it's crickets. That's one. And then two, as you like try to build your business, because I thought that the Instagram business model was awesome, meaning you can start a business on Instagram. You have all of these potential customers because so many people are on Instagram, and you don't have to really pay unless you take out ads. So I was just like, this is like really awesome. And just seeing other people on social media doing it, I'm just like, wow, I can do something similar to this. I have great style, and I have great taste, and I know how to pick out clothes and stuff like that. No, you need to know about business. You need to know about sales and marketing. And I didn't know anything about that. So my business, it was based off of my effort, meaning post 3 times a day. I needed to send out email blasts. It was just way too much effort that I was able to, that I even understood that I need to put forth in order to make sales. And I was just like, it has to be a better way. Like, I don't see how me posting 3 times a day to get 2 sales is going to help me grow into a 6-figure business. And so I did grow the page and 10,000 followers, and had sales, but it just wasn't enough to sustain the lifestyle that I have already before I even started the business. And I had to make a hard choice. Am I going to keep pursuing this, knowing that it's very tedious, is very and I didn't have any money to hire a VA to help or anything like that? Or am I going to pivot and do something else? And I think in business, you have to know when to pivot. When something is just simply not working, and throwing everything against the wall, and it's just like not popping off for you, you just have to be like, okay, I need to pivot, because I'm just sinking more money into this and I'm not getting a return on my investment. So, I had to put a pause on it. I shut down the website. I have all this inventory still that I need to do something with. But when I found and real estate investment, I was like, this is something that is way better, because I don't have to beg nobody for sales. I have a tangible asset that people want. People want housing. There's actually a shortage of housing in America right now. So I feel like I've positioned myself in a supply and demand that's in my favor, as opposed to being the umpteenth boutique on Instagram, right? So the success that I had with that was celebrities wearing my stuff, but that wasn't bringing me money. But buying an asset,
Wearing your stuff though.
yeah. So Dream Doll, she wore some of my stuff. Who is the other people? There's some other people. Oh, Tammy Roman, she wore some of my stuff, but that doesn't translate.
So how does that business model work? You pay them a certain amount to post your stuff, and then on the back end, you hope to get new customers based off of them posting it?
No, actually, Tammy, she just went to my site and she purchased it and she wore it to the Essence Fest. And I just happened to be on her page and saw that she had the outfit on that she bought from me. And I was able to leverage that in, on my Instagram and marketing. Dream Doll, that was a situation with a stylist. She had pulled some clothes from me, which is like borrowing, so she could dress her for a photo shoot. And that's how Dream Doll was in my garments. So it was a lot of situations like that, like working with stylists. I even did a 5-page spread in a magazine with all, clothes from my boutique, but it still didn't bring in like a lot of business. People was like, oh, that's so cool, congratulations, but there was no sales from that.
Talk about how the perception of business and the reality of business is like totally different. Because for what you just said, you're in the magazines, these two lit people just, post your thing. That's 2 million followers between both of them. You know what I mean? It's like your sales supposed to be through the roof, but it don't always go like
No.
that in business.
Exactly. And I think a large part of that is one, people's like, oh, that's nice. But for the most part, it's just like, oh, that's cute on her, but I don't know if I would like that. The other thing is that I didn't have enough reach. My page only had 10,000 followers. And because they didn't post where they got it from, because they didn't have any obligation to do so. Like Tammy paying for it out of pocket. She don't have no obligation to me to post where she got it from. Dream Doll, it was in the credits, but again, that really doesn't translate. People don't really look at that, when they look at magazines and stuff like that. So it was a missed opportunity. I think somebody that was more well versed in boutique clothing and sales and stuff probably could have capitalized on it, but I just didn't have the knowledge. So the only thing that I was doing was sending out like email blasts. Hey, so and so was spotted with the stylish edit, and check out my posts. But it's probably a missed opportunity that somebody that had more experience could have done way more than I did with it. So.
No, that makes sense. So in hindsight, would you say that you need to run a business and then leave your job to run that business compared to working and then quitting to start a business that you're going to run?
I think you want to do it in tandem. I think that you want to keep your job at all costs until you actually, on a consistent basis, is bringing home the same amount or more that you would make monthly in your job. And the reason why is because, especially with retail, that is a fickle business. There's retail companies and boutiques popping up almost every day. The competition is so fierce, and if you don't have a loyal customer base in place, your income will go down dramatically. So if I was to do it again, I would keep my job. Even though my manager stressed me out so much, she was giving me migraines, and I would have kept my business, and I would have been able to hire someone to help me because I have a salary, and got some coaching or something to help me figure it out. When I left my job, I didn't have the extra money to do anything basically, and I was at the mercy of trying to make sales in a business that I really didn't understand. So that's key. If you're getting in business, really understand how to make it work. It's not about the pretty pictures or you thinking your product is the greatest thing. It's about sales and marketing, and I had no idea until I got into it.
Right, right. And that's the thing. I want people that listen to really just know, like, a lot of people have good years, but to really be straight, you got to have, 5 years, back to back consistency before you leave your job. Because a lot of times what happen is somebody will do something, let's say if it's real estate, let's say it's a course sale or whatever, and it'll take off, and it'll take off so fast that the person end up leaving their job. In year one, it might take off. You might do 100,000, but year two, you might do 40, you might do 50.
Yeah.
You got to pay tax on that. That's nothing I'm going to talk about. When you are in the business of financing things, when it comes to, housing or investments, you have to be mindful of being able to get approved for those things. And what happens a lot of time in real estate is these people, I don't say these people just in general, they get a couple buildings, they do the little income thing where it's like, oh, I was grossing 4,500 at my job. I grossed that now. You know what? I quit. And it's this big joyful thing. Everybody comment, oh, congratulations, some. And it really is dope. But what ended up happening is they think they're going to leave their job and scale up. But what they run into is the fact that you have to have 2 years of business income tax returns in order for them to use your business income on a pre-approval.
Yep.
They don't find that out until they leave their job. They try to finance another building. Yep. And now you have to wait 2 years. And now you have to hope that same income does what it needs to do, which means that nothing happens on the building. There's no vacancy. There's no repairs and maintenance, and nothing in your real personal life, because things happen. Like, I didn't have a kid last year. I got one now. I might have another one next year. You know what I mean? So it's like when you leave and those numbers are so tight on you, it puts so much immense pressure on you to do business. You're not really able to do business. You really kind of turn into just a salesperson because you have to sell people and stuff to keep yourself afloat. And that's not really a happy life. You know what I mean?
It totally isn't. And so that's why real estate for me was a way easier business, because I don't have to sell anybody on it. Yeah, when I have a vacancy, I'll put an ad up, but people, they looking for apartments, that's going to be a thing forever, especially like when you look at the statistics, how millennials, they opted not to buy homes. They want to rent. Baby boomers and the elderly, they're downsizing and they want apartments. They don't want to have the maintenance of a home that they raise their children in and stuff like that. So I just feel like and this is something that I got from Doug Depth. He says the rental property business is the best subscription business in the world, because it's a monthly subscription that you pay to live in a property. And me being a property owner, I benefit from that. And there will be times when people don't pay their rent and stuff like that, and you deal with that accordingly. But it's nothing like when you don't get any sales from your business.
You don't know the pain of running a business until you run a sale and don't get a sale.
Exactly.
That is true. That actually happened with my course. I'm transparent. I don't gotta lie about nothing because it is what it is. That actually happened with my course. I ran a sale and it was like no sale. And it's like, thank God I'm not living off of this, because I would have been, running more sales on top of that. I probably would have dropped it from 50 to 75%. But that's the thing. Like a lot of times when you get into this investing thing, it's dope because you're able to see others, but a lot of times you can get caught up by others. Like, damn, they retired at 26, they got a Lambo and this and that. It's like, yo, that's their route though. You don't know what they got behind that. A lot of times, and I'm not saying everybody, because there are some that really are good, but a lot of times that stuff be financed, they be highly levered, and they really behind the ball on it. But right. You wouldn't know that until you live their life behind that. Like, stuff costs, man. Stuff costs. I'm telling you, I do taxes. So I'm telling you, when you were self-employed, they pay a high premium on being self-employed.
For sure. Yeah. And then, again, the smoke and mirrors on social media, you have to have a high level of discernment when you're looking at people as, your inspiration. So, people might have a Lambo, and there are genuine people that's out there doing numbers like that. But then there's that, they know that, in order for me to sell this course on how to, be prosperous buying buildings, I got to rent this Lambo and do this content, so it's like, that's why you have to educate yourself on, purchasing properties, how to run the numbers, and thinking about your bottom line in terms of the cash flow and how much cash flow do you need monthly in order to say, okay, this is my number that I can leave my job. So in order for me to do that, I need 20 properties or I need 30 properties, so it hurts my heart when people are just like, oh yeah, I'm ready to leave my job, and they got one property or two properties, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? You're gonna struggle. And why would you want to struggle needlessly? If you don't like your job, that's one thing. Get another one. More than likely you're gonna get more money from job hopping, but sure. Keep your life best. because that's what it is. Your life preserver, rather. So yeah, I have no plans on leaving my job anytime soon, even though I say 4 years, because I do actually like the work that I do and I like the company that I'm with, but I'm not in a rush. I don't want to have to make decisions that are done under, duress. Like, oh, I need to get another property so I can, pay, the mortgage on my single family. Like, no, I don't want to move like that. So,
Let me ask
yeah.
you this. Do you feel like your experience from leaving the job and experience what you experienced has you like, okay, if I'm going to do this again, I'm going to make sure I got everything lined up? Because I feel like since I haven't experienced what you experienced, I'm like, nah, fam, 2 years tops before I'm 30. You know what I mean?
But your experience could be totally different. So you already have 3 properties. You might be in a position to be able to scale faster. You might have business credit that I don't have. You might be sitting on 250,000 in business credit and you about to pull a trigger on 7 properties. You can accelerate your path, and because you already know how to run the numbers and you know how you need to match how your cash flow, straight cash flow after everything is paid, has to either match or surpass your monthly income, your monthly gross. You're already cognizant of that. You already got that at the forefront of your mind. Me, I don't have business credit yet. And my strategy at this point has just been saving my 3.5% down and buying FHA, then refinance it to conventional and rinse and repeat. But everybody's path might be different. It's just you have to make sure that you pay attention to the bottom line, the cash flow, the thing that's going to give you that freedom number. So once you identify that, it might, in 2 years, that might be the case for you because, I'm doing things differently, or I might be transitioning to getting some business credit so I could go faster, because that is the goal. But yeah, I know that, if the opportunity is there, I would take it. But again, I'm not in a rush because, I don't want to make mistakes. When you're spending that much money, you don't want to be making mistakes.
Fact. That's a fact. I think one thing people should take from this is that even if you have a good business, good income, give it time to grow. Like, I think a lot of times, like I said, you get that 1 year, you're running off, but it's like, if you stay for 3 years and you invest that and you just live off of, the other income from your job, it's like you will really have a nest egg to really give your time to really establish yourself as an entrepreneur. Because I'm getting in the realm of space where I'm speaking to a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, and they kind of all say the same thing for their first year, like, oh, I was all over the place. And knowing that, I'm like, okay, if you all over the place, the money might not be all over. The money probably all over the place too, as in not consistent. So it's like
Exactly.
you have to have that nest egg to be like, okay, if I don't make $1 outside of here, I can still pay for everything.
Right. And just eliminating that stress, that push years on your life. Like, people be having straight up heart attacks from the stress of trying to maintain a business that, one, they probably can't scale, or two, they don't have the expertise to grow. And why would you give yourself that added stress? Life is already got you on edge sometimes. Why would you add that other stress voluntarily if you don't have to? And you're right. A lot of times when people jump into entrepreneurship, it's because we can do something really well and we've learned how to monetize it. But that's not the end game. The end game is, how do I scale this? How am I able to bring on more team members so I can diversify and get into other things? And a lot of times, when we just leave our jobs, we're very short-sighted in that. And I think, maintaining your job and being able to hire people to, like I said, give you the coaching to take some things off your plate that you probably are not good at, like sales or marketing, that can go a long way. And as you invest in your business can grow quicker without you taking away your safety net.
Right. And another thing you have to look at also is you got to kind of project your ideal lifestyle. I think a lot of times people start off young, which is great to start young, but they retire based off the lifestyle they're living at 23. And it's like, yo, at 28, 29, it might be a little different. You might have more of an expense. You might have a dependent. So it's like kind of always target for that. And another thing I would say is, when you're listening to stories about people that saying, I hated my job, I quit my job, and now I'm retired. you got to kind of look deeper. Like, I want to know, what did you do for your job? How much was you making? Because that's a
Yeah,
lot of, that plays a big effect. Like, you leaving your job where you was making $15 an hour and there was no thing for promotion. That's different from me, when it's like, in 5 years, I might be at, 6 figs. It's a
right.
totally different thing that we're walking away from. It's a different kind of opportunity cost. So it's like, while I do get motivated from those that kind of figured out the entrepreneurism route, I'm still cognizant of the potential I have for staying within my lane. And I feel like people tend to forget about that when they hear others.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like this, it's just like this social media and, it's a phenomenon that I was reading about, but basically everybody's comparing themselves to everybody. And it's just like, on social media, you see the highlight reel. You don't see the grind. You don't see the struggle. You don't see, the shut off notices. You don't see none of that because nobody wants to share that. And I think that is like really great and transparent of you to say, you didn't make any sales during the sale for your ebook. People will get online and be like, yo, I made my year, Black Friday,
I made
and
my
it's
salary in a day and all that. Well, yeah, for sure.
exactly.
Like, how much was you making? See why that's important? Because you just said you made your salary in a day. How much was you making?
So it's like, I just hate when people fall into that trap. And I can speak from that because I did fall into that trap
Right.
thinking
That is a
it was,
fact.
it was going to be all gravy, and it wasn't at all.
I'll be
And
all the way honest. Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
sorry, I know people that have been following me. They're like, wait, she used to have a boutique. Now she's a real estate investor and she talks about investing all the time. And they're just like, people do reach out to me and they're like, I love what you're doing, but are you going to go back to the boutique or whatever, whatever? And I'm like, no, this path right here is what's propelling me forward. This has been such an eye-opening experience, and it has opened up so many opportunities for me to help people, where my boutique, it didn't give me that feeling. Like, yeah, when I would get a sale, be like, oh yeah, that's dope. But the feeling that I get when I work with people to, either buy a property or give them knowledge about buying or real estate and or investments is so much more gratifying. So I feel like I can go much further with that because there's a pull there. Whereas before it was just like a money grab because I wasn't like emotionally invested. And I think that's a big thing too when you have a business. I'm not saying that, people say don't follow your passion, but a lot of times those things is what fuels you. And that's, it shows in when you talk about it. Like when people watch our live, they be like, that was so dope. You guys, I could relate to you, the story that you told. I have a similar story. I never got that when I was, going on live talking about clothes, so it's just like, it's so much more gratifying to have a purpose that I also can make money from. So for me, just like,
Right. And it kind of share personal experience. I kind of fell into that same trap when it comes to stock options. So a lot of times I was following people that was in it, and shout out to Todd Capital. He came on a course on it. So I took it, Todd and Chris. And a lot of times, they're showing screenshots, or not them, like other people that took the course might show screenshots of their day. And it's like, yo, he just made 8,000 in one day off a $1,200 play. And it's like, yo, I need to get in this. But it's like, they're not showing you the red days. He might have just broke even for the year.
right. Oh,
And it's
wow.
like, yeah, I fell into that trap where it's like every day I was trying to do stock options. I'm doing my work and then looking at the number, seeing what it's at. I lose a little money, I'm pulling out. My whole day is ruined based off of something I was trying to get every day. And it's like, to really get rich, you got to do things that's for long term. That's what I learned. I'm just like, it wasn't for me. But I fell into the trap of seeing others like, yo, I quit my job. I just made 10 grand in a day. I make 6 figures a month. But then it was a stat that came out that said something like, I believe like 4% of day traders actually are profitable.
Wow. That's crazy.
So when I seen that, I'm like, okay, I'm a numbers person. So that's all I needed to hear. I'm like, okay. So now if I do it, I might play a longer position, like a longer term investment as opposed to just day by day. But yeah, it came out of stat that said 4% of
Wow.
day traders are profitable. So it's like, but from what you see on social media, you might think 65%.
Think everybody balling out. You think everybody having those, 5-figure days. I'm so happy that you said that because I bought the course too, because we like buying. But I haven't had a chance to dive into it. So and this is just for my own knowledge, and maybe everybody else want to know, how did you even manage doing that? Because it seemed like you have to be looking at the screens for, the markets like all the time. How did you do that with your job?
Well, I got multiple screens. I got 3 screens, so I might have work on this one. I might have Yahoo Finance on the other. I make an investment pool. The thing is, to invest is like it's good and bad, but it's literally the flick of your phone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like I'm not calling some guy in New York saying, "Hey, buy me Amazon some." I'm really clicking on my phone, flicking it up, and I bought it. And now
Right,
after I bought it, I'm watching the screen to see what the price does, because that is depending on if I'm going to make money or not.
right, right.
Going down, I'm staring, and then when it's going up, I'm really staring. So it's throwing me off of my job.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Like it would be throwing you off. And I'm a coder, so I have to be head down all day. I just was like, how would I even manage looking at the charts and doing my job and being effective at both? So
Right. And the thing is, it's a lot of money in it if you buy short-term positions, meaning that you buy an investment only lasts a week. But the
mhm.
bad thing about it is if it's losing money, you only got a week. So it's
Okay,
like, if the stock is down, I'm losing money. I need to go up in 3 days. Otherwise, I lose my investment. So it's like, it's very high risk if you play it the wrong way. But those are the same screenshots you see that gets you into it.
Yep,
Gotta
yep.
make me grand. He bought one that expired in a week. Let me go buy that same thing. But it's like, if we go the opposite way, you only got 2 days and you don't even move that much. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And that was my thing. Like, I'm gonna just do that real estate and I retire. But it's like, nah, you need some more money outside of that, bro. Like you can't do that every day. Honestly
Right.
speaking.
Right, right. I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of people do look at those guys and they're like, yeah, I'm about to run the same play and I'm gonna, do the same thing. And it's just like, nah, first of all, they don't have jobs. So they're able to look at this, the screens all day, every day and do all this analysis. And then the other thing is they've been doing it for a while.
Right.
You
They know
know,
how to control their emotions. Like, it's crazy because I told my guy about it. Like, yo, if you talking about you want to make $1,000, do you know what it's like to lose $200? Like, are you good with that? And the
exactly.
thing is that he's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. He started, he called me. He like, yo, man, it's kind of crazy. I'm down 250. I'm like, I told you, if you can make 250 in 10 minutes, then you can lose 500 in 10 minutes.
Yes, yes.
While working the job. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of those things, you got to realize, what's for you and what's not for you. And for me, it was like, I can't do that everyday stuff. I couldn't.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm so glad you said that, because I still want to learn, because I think it's,
Me
a
too.
worthwhile skill, but the visions of grandeur that I have for it is gone now.
That's what gets everybody into it. It's just the thing that like, yo, how much he put down 1,000 and he made $9,000. If I made 9,000 a day, I would do this and that. And now you hooked.
Yeah, yeah,
You hooked. But to kind of go further along and kind of just like, wrapping up the lessons we got want you to take is just, if you got something that's doing good outside of work, give it time to do better. Just give it
exactly.
time. Just give it time, bro. Like with anything. Cause it's like, a good year is great, but if you're leaving a job that you gonna put 10 years of work into to get to a certain income, you're wiping 10 years or something away for something that started from 6 months.
Right.
And I know they say leap of faith, but risk can be calculated.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, I'm, like I said, I'm a very logical person. If it don't make sense, I just can't do it, with the exception of the boutique. I thought it was something that it was, but it wasn't. And that was just a learning lesson for me. Like, sales is not my thing, and to identify that I did that business wasn't something that it propelled me to learn about sales and marketing to make my business better. I thought it was just going to be, I have some dope stuff. I think women will look good in it. It should sell. That was very naive and arrogant of me. But the fact of the matter was, um, the stress that came with it, of trying to make sales every day, it just took me out. And I was just like, let me go back to work, because I need to make sure that I have some stability in my life, and try again with a different business. And here we are with real estate and Turo and podcasting.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. But no, that's a fact, man. Like I said, I just want everybody to know that, because even for both of us, we both want to retire and be lazy. Don't get it confused. Like, we talking to y'all about how we've got to stay, but the goal is to retire and be a little more lazy than I am now. But the point is, you have to put in a certain amount of work to really sustain the things that you're relying on in order to be lazy.
Exactly. Exactly. Because, you know, I told my husband, I was like, I want to build a villa in Bali and I want us to retire there. But there's going to be tremendous amount of work to get there. And I don't have a problem with putting in the work, because I know based on my effort, not waiting for someone to buy, you know, my clothing, I can do that with the burrs and buying the rental properties. So, you know, it's just like, yeah, this is something that is totally within my grasp. I just have to, you know, implement, you know, working a little bit smarter. And like I said, you know, getting business credit to, you know, help facilitate things going a little faster. But for me, it's a lot more attractive than trying to sell clothing. I'm passionate about clothes and style and stuff like that, but that just wasn't my path. And, you know, I was able to recognize that, you know, sooner than later. So.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We thank y'all for listening to the 9 to 5 CEO podcast. You can follow me at 9 to 5 Landlord.
And follow me at Zena Dixon Inc.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
Night.